Questions and answers for getting and giving personal information. What is your first name? In English, we typically divide a name into three parts: the first name, the middle name, and the last name. The last name is the surname or family name. Some people do not have a middle name. They only have a first name and a last name. So your first name, we call it first name because when you write your complete name, it's the first part. Middle name, okay. Some people have a middle name, but when they write their name, they sometimes only put the letter, the initial of the middle name. And the last name or the surname, the family name. In the United States, people typically only use one surname. Because the Hispanic population is increasing, so use two last names, two surnames, the father family name and the mother's family name. And also today, sometimes when women marry, instead of using the husband's surname, they add the surname. So, for example, Hillary Rodham Clinton, originally she was Hillary Rodham. When she married, she added Clinton. She did not remove her surname, she added the surname of her husband. Now, in English, if you want to use both of your surnames, then it's becoming typical in the United States to connect them with a hyphen. So you put a little hyphen, guion, between the two surnames to connect them, to make them sort of one surname. What is your nickname? Some people have a nickname. A nickname is an unofficial name that people sometimes use, especially with their friends and family. So, for example, my first name is Robert, but my friends and family call me Bob. So, have a nickname that they use with friends and family. What is your date of birth? Date of birth is a formal question. This question you get primarily when filling out some kind of official form. And so, date of birth, we answer with the month, the day, and the year. So that's date of birth. When is your birthday is similar, but when we give our birthday, we say my birthday is on, and we only give the month and the day. We do not give the year. So the difference between date of birth and birthday is with date of birth, we give month, day, and year. With birthday, we only tell the month and the day. How old are you? I am whatever, 18 years old, 19 years old. Well, in English, we use am. I am, she is, he is, and then the number of years. We do not say I have. We say I am, and then the number of years old. Where are you from? Where are you from? I am from, and here you can put the town or the country. In some cases, it depends on the situation. So, for example, I am from Pennsylvania. Where do you live? That means now. So I would say I live in San Juan. So where are you from? Usually that means originally, where you grew up, where you lived for a long time. Where do you live means now, and then you tell your present residence. What is your hometown? A hometown is the place where you usually where you grew up, where you were a child and adolescent, and you identify with that town. And we say hometown because sometimes you do not live there anymore. We use this especially when talking about sports. So the Yankees' hometown is New York. The Chicago Bears hometown is obviously Chicago. So the hometown, the place that they associate with home, usually where they grew up, where they have family and friends. Are you married? Or you could say, are you single? And then we will either say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Okay, so that's a question that we usually answer yes or no, but we like to add a little bit more. We don't like to just no. So we say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. A more formal question is, what is your marital status? And then we have various options: single, married, divorced, engaged. Engaged means that technically you are single, but you have plans to marry someone. So then we say engaged. You might also ask a person, do you have a boyfriend? Or you might ask, do you have a girlfriend? Depending on who you're asking. And then a short response would be, yes, I do, or no, I don't. You might add some information. If you say, yes, I do, you say, yes, I do. My girlfriend's name is Carmen, something like that. What is your favorite whatever? What is your favorite sport? What is your favorite food? What is your favorite uh, restaurant? What is your favorite type of music? So, depending on what you put in the blank in the question, in the answer, my favorite sport is baseball. My favorite restaurant is Chili's. So, that's how you would answer these questions. Are you a freshman at the university? And you could answer, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. If you say, no, I'm not, you might want to add, I'm a whatever, sophomore, junior, or senior. What year are you in? I'm a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. In English, we have names for these. It's also possible to say, I'm in my first year, I'm in my second year, I'm in my third year, I'm in my fourth year. So either first year or freshman, second year sophomore, third year junior, fourth year senior. What is your nationality? I have included a short list of nationalities in this unit. Nationality usually refers to the country that one is a citizen of. I am American, I am Mexican, I am Canadian, whatever you say the nationality. In some cases, it gets a little confusing because many people say I am Puerto Rican, but technically, Puerto Rico, people who live in Puerto Rico are citizens of the United States. So it gets a little confusing there. And in some cases, Puerto Rico is one example, but there are other places where this gets a little confusing. What is your major? That is the area of your concentration in your studies. And so you would answer, my major is accounting, biology, elementary education, history, nursing, social work. So major means your concentration, the area that you are studying in. Another way to say that is what are you studying? Usually when people ask what are you studying, they are asking what is your major, your concentration. So I'm studying chemistry, right? I'm studying business administration. Do you work or do you have a job? And then answer, yes, I do, or no, I don't. If you answer, yes, I do, you might add some information like, yes, I do. I work at Plaza Luisa. So you might add that there. If you don't give that information, the person might ask, where do you work? Where do you work? I work at, and again, Marco's Pizza or Pizza Hut or something like that. What are your hobbies? Now, if you only have one, you would say my hobby is. If you have more, you would say my hobbies are, and then list them. Sleeping is not a hobby. All right. Hobbies are things like dancing salsa, reading, writing poetry, watching YouTube videos, something like that. What is your occupation? And I have included in this unit a list of some occupations. So I am or am, I'm a professor. I am a cashier. I am a teller. If you don't have an occupation, but you're studying, we can say I'm a student. So if you don't do, if you don't have an occupation, you don't have a job, then you would say I'm a student. What do you do is another way of asking what is your occupation. So what do you do? And then you would answer I'm an accountant. What is your postal or physical address? Okay, so sometimes we ask for postal address, sometimes for physical. And if you're filling in a form, they often ask you for both your postal and physical address. A postal address might have a PO box, un apartado, something like that. That's where you get your mail, your correspondence. Physical address is the actual physical location of where you live. If you give the physical address, then typically in English, we put the number of the building, then the name of the street, and then a word like street or avenue, or English has many of these, road, highway, something like that. Now, in Puerto Rico, with the physical address, in addition, we would give the name of the municipality or town or city, then the state, and then the zip code. Now, in Puerto Rico, sometimes addresses have different formats. In Puerto Rico, sometimes you give not only the name of the municipality, but the sector. So sometimes people would put not San Juan, but Rio Piedras or Coupé, Condado. So that is sometimes used. In the United States, people do not usually do that. They only give the name, the information about the street and the municipality and the state, but not the area. So if you're sending correspondence to someone in New York, you don't write Manhattan, you don't write Lower East Side, you just put New York, New York. And then, of course, with the postal address, you need a zip code. With the physical address, you would not use a zip code. What is your telephone number? And then you would say, my telephone number is, and you give the numbers of your telephone number. What is your email address? My email address. Now, when giving email address, there's certain vocabulary that's necessary. Uppercase or capital letters. For example, my email address is the M of my is capital. So you have to specify if the letter is uppercase, or sometimes we say capital, or if the letter is lowercase, or again, sometimes we say small. So in giving an email address, you have to specify if the letter is uppercase or lowercase, if it's capital or small. After the first part of the address, we put a symbol that looks like the letter A with almost a circle around it. In English, that symbol doesn't have a name. We say at. So my address at the university is all lowercase letters, RVAN, at intermetro.edu. At the end of an email address and at the end of internet addresses, we have what we call a dot. In other cases, it has different names. So in mathematics, we call it a decimal point. In punctuation, we call it a period. But with computers, we call it dot. And then you get dot, usually com or edu or org, something like that. Some email addresses have underscore. Underscore is when you have a line that is down at the bottom of the letters, underneath the letters. And so in some email addresses, we have this underscore. So if you're giving your email address and if your email address has underscore, you have to say underscore. And finally, hyphen. Hyphen is where we connect, again, sometimes parts of an email address, but we put a little line not down at the bottom like underscore, but sort of in the middle vertically. Okay, not at the top, not at the bottom, but in the middle. So with email, uppercase or capital, lowercase, small, at for that symbol, dot for that point, underscore, that line down at the bottom, and hyphen, that line that's sort of in the middle vertically. And finally, when you are getting and giving information, especially when you're getting information and someone tells you something and you're not sure how to write it, then you can ask them, how do you spell? For example, if I say my last name is Van Trieste, you might say, how do you spell your last name? All right. And so then I say VAN space capital TRIESTE. So we can ask, how do you spell for a name of a person? If the person says the name of a street and you understand it, if the person says that they work at a business and you don't understand the name of the business, you can ask them how to spell. So whenever you need clarification, if you have to copy this information, then how do you spell? Y colorín colorado, el cuento ha terminado.